Kia ora, I'm David Chaston with 90 at 9, brought to you by interest.co.nz. This week at Everything You Need to Know in 90 seconds at 9 o'clock with news. Canada has conceded it has lost its dairy dispute with New Zealand. But first in the US, actual initial jobless claims rose sharply to 261,000 from the previous week, but that was less than seasonal factors would have suggested. There are now 2 million people on these benefits, 4% more than year-ago levels, and the most in 4 months. And after 3 down months, the Philly Fed factory survey recovered in July. New order intakes rose, but also rising was the prices firms paid for their inputs and what they charged their customers. Safe behind a tariff wall, these firms are showing the expected reactions, ones that will make them internationally uncompetitive. Also rising were US retail sales in June. This also came after 2 retreating months and was not expected. Year on year, these sales are up 3.7%, of which car sales rose 5.3%. Other than vehicles, the rise was 3.3%, and still quite positive. However, 2.7% of that can be accounted for by CPI inflation. In Canada, they've quietly conceded they've lost their dairy access dispute with New Zealand and will now honour the CPTPP treaty agreements. Although the US is not a party to this dispute, the most favoured nation clause in its NAFTA agreement probably means wider access for others to the Canadian dairy market as well. Across the Pacific, and continuing its yo-yo pattern, Singapore's June exports jumped. In fact, they rose 14% from May to be 13% higher than year-ago levels. In Australia, their June labour market softened. They were expecting a jobs gain of 20,000, but only got 2,000. Their jobless rate ticked up to 4.3%. As a result, financial markets are pricing in an RBA rate cut on August the 12th, and those prices have risen. And inflation expectations in Australia are staying stubbornly high, although not as high as in July as they were in June. A softening labour market, but very high inflation expectations and a frothy real estate market will all make the RBA's assessments very difficult. The US Treasury 10-year yield is now at 4.47%, little change from yesterday. The price of gold, though, will start today at $3,336 an ounce, down $18 from yesterday at this time. And American oil prices are up $1 at $67.50 a barrel, while the international Brent price is now just on $69.50 a barrel. And the Kiwi dollar is now at 59.3 US cents, down 25 basis points from yesterday. Against the Aussie, we're up 30 basis points at 91.4 Australian cents. Against the euro, we're also up 10 basis points at 51.2 euro cents. That all means our trade weight index starts today at 67.2 and essentially unchanged. You can get more news about the economy in New Zealand from interest.co.nz. Kia ora, I'm David Chaston, and we'll do this again on Monday.